See who's awake here. Got some smiles here. So I understand some of you party animals went out last night and had a good time.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, good. So we're in day 3. This is the final stretch. This is it. This is the end game. So this is where you get to make it really count. Not that the other days didn't count, but this is where hopefully you've got some momentum going by now. And so I'm going to ask a question. You don't need to answer, but has anybody, well, let me back up a little bit. So at these boot camps, we have something we call the zone. And getting in the zone is what you've probably heard it from professional athletes and other high-powered people. When they get in the zone, it's a very special place because in the zone, things happen, seems almost effortlessly or magically. In other words, in this circumstance, being in the zone would be you're out on the street or you're on the phone and you ring somebody up and right away, whatever you're doing, they want it. You don't have to say much. It's just happening. They're agreeing. They're excited because you're excited. It's all going great. And even if you have somebody say no, it doesn't matter because you know you're in the zone. It's all happening. Do you guys get a sense of what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Has anybody found yourself in the zone over the weekend? You have? Yeah?
Dancing.
Yeah? Okay, well the interesting thing is it will transfer over from dancing to prospecting. So if you're in the zone, then congratulations. Now the trick if you're in the zone is to keep it alive. Because why would you want to ever step out of the zone? And life is. So the trick here is to be aware of the zone, and when you start to experience, for me, I go in the zone, out, in, out, and then I'm in. So it's not just flick the switch and I'm in. It's flick the switch and flick the switch and flick the switch, and then I'm in. So this boot camp's set up to facilitate you getting into the zone. Now, the second part of that is we want you to stay in the zone, right? So it's after this physical boot camp is how you stay in the zone, and we've already talked about that earlier, and that is by this week having power hours. By Saturday, a week from yesterday, having another I'm a Champion Day. Having 2 or 3 or 4 weeks out, another boot camp. That's how you stay in the zone. You got to keep the game going, right? You got to keep it going because you'll be out of the zone automatically if you don't. So you have a chance to keep this alive. And then if you can do this for a month or 2 or 3, then you can actually have a chance of living in the zone, which is really, really exciting. That's what I think probably all of us want. I mean, the money's good, the acknowledgement's good, the titles are good, but living in the zone is the real reward, where it's just magical. So today, for some of you, maybe your chance to get in the zone. If you don't get in, that's fine. It's not like there's anything wrong. It's just there's an opportunity to get in that place. So maybe that's your commitment. Maybe you want to get in that zone. I find for me it's part an act of will, meaning I will do this, and it's part serendipity, like something happens and I suddenly find myself there, and it's part just belief, and that sort of thinking to make it happen. So I don't know, maybe some of you have a different experience of how this thing works. I don't know exactly how to recommend it or describe it, I just know it exists. I know when I'm in it, and I know when I'm not in it. I know more when I'm in it than when I'm not in it, because it's not easy to describe in its absence, but it's easy to describe being in it. So, that said, we are on our last day. This is the day where you get to rack up gains. If you've been working diligently over the last couple of days, you should be able to start reaping the rewards today. What we've seen traditionally at these boot camps is that on the last day, people actually start getting sales. They actually start getting commitments, which means BV, which means money in your check. In some cases, by the end of this week, right? Because some of these pay this week. So this is the day to start to pull in some of those gains. You may be doing a bit of follow-up. At this point, if you haven't availed yourself, taken advantage of some of the leadership offerings to work together, now's a chance to do that too. Some of you may want to further tighten up your bonds with your fellow workers to plan for the events we talked about, the power hours, the I'm a Champion Days, the boot camps. Yeah, let's see if you have those to announce this morning. This is a good time to do it. If you want to announce them later, that's fine. But before we get out of here, let's make sure that everybody has access to ongoing events so that you have a chance to keep this alive and grow it and then spread it. And that's the other thing I want to talk about, is if you're getting value here, it's important to be able to speak about that. Because it's one thing to go back to your teams and back to your life and know, yeah, I had a great experience. But that's not really sharing. If you care, you share, right? Wherever that is. If you care, share. So it's important to be able to speak about what's going on here. And that's part of the reason we ask you to take advantage of the space here to come up, use the camera, is so that your speaking is the agent of invitation for transformation. So that if this event's valuable to you, maybe you've got some learning, maybe you got in the zone, maybe you made some new friendships, maybe you developed leadership, maybe you made some money, maybe you got a new vision, you formulated your goals, whatever you got, it's important for you to be able to speak that so that other people can have access to this. This is, in my opinion, the best and most powerful system, part of a system that we've come up with so far. So we would be less than generous if we didn't share this with people. We'd be less than smart business people if we didn't share this with people, right? Do you get that? So if you have a goal and you're truly committed to that goal, I would suggest part of getting that goal is sharing this, sharing your experience of this. The structure is simple. Anybody can do this. You find a place and people come to work. That, in its essence, that's what it looks like. I mean, there's other bits, you know, there's other pieces. But in its essence, the mechanics of this are so simple that we're expecting it to scale worldwide real fast, and it already is. But the essence of it is your experience, and that's what people want to come for. They want to come for the experience. So it's up to you to develop a way to share that with people. Okay, and that doesn't have to be complicated. It's just really telling the truth about how you're feeling. So we're going to give you some time now to come up and share a couple of things. One, complete from yesterday and the day before, or last night, or this morning if you're working this morning. Just kind of complete that. Talk about where you're going. This is my goal for today. This is my goal for the week. This is my goal, kind of like that, if that's up for you, if that's up front. And then maybe share some of the breakthroughs or challenges or experience you've had. And again, this will be recorded, it'll be up on the internet. You can actually share that piece of video with your team or your friends. You can say, hey, watch this. Or you can just call them up and tell them. So one smart thing to do today would be when you know, next Saturday, I'm going to the I Am a Champion Day in Nelson or Christchurch or wherever. Smart thing to do today would be prospect your downline, right? Get on the phone and get them to commit to come. While you're in the zone, while you're excited, while you're here, while you're experiencing it, will be your most powerful moment to invite them to come and be part of next week, wouldn't it? So you wouldn't want to spend the whole day doing that because you want to make some money, I'm sure. But a part of the day you could use to do that. Another part of the day, just a suggestion, you could be thinking of the people that should have been here that weren't here. And maybe you never invited them, maybe you invited them and they had a reason not to come, whatever the case. But if you see value here, I would suggest you tell those people. You think, gosh, I wish Cheryl was here, I wish Bill was here. Get them on the phone and say, hey, you are missing something really, really good. And you have a chance next weekend to come with me and we're going to do it again. Right? So start to build the attendance. Use this energy here to build attendance. And you can get one of us on the phone. You can say, yeah, you are missing something fantastic. And it's really great. And by the way, let me get Jackie here. Jackie's here. Jackie, what? And it doesn't have to be a top leader. It can just be anybody. You can get anybody on the phone to do this little mini three-way to get people to next weekend, right? So start to build that. Okay. And yeah, last but not least, you might want to start thinking about acknowledgments. If you've had some help from somebody, or somebody was generous to you, acknowledge them back. You be generous. Here's a good spot. And we'll have more time today. Now look, the 11:30 thing we've been doing, that is strictly optional. I would not recommend you break what you're doing just to be here for that. The first day, yeah, that was kind of important to give you a chance to recalibrate, check in. The second day, maybe not so much. The third day, that's if you're more, I would say if you're having challenges or you need some specific things, we'll be here at 11:30, but that's pretty much what it is. It doesn't mean you should be here. It really is just an opportunity to know that, you know, the leadership will be here if you need something, kind of like that. You guys clear about that? That was the purpose of that. Okay. And we will have a 2 o'clock event today. And so the first day we had, I don't know, about half a dozen?
Yeah, 2.
2. Yesterday we had 10. Today, I'd like to see 20 guests. And then we can get that into 40 or 50 people on Wednesday. So it's build. Let's build. Let's build for that. Okay. So that's all I have to say. Anybody else? You guys have anything to say? Yeah.